Why do most older people seem to begin to fade after 80, even those who were sharp and healthy just a few years before? The truth is, most people assume that what happens after 80 is purely about genetics or luck, but that's only part of the story. In this video, we will explore 5 unexpected reasons that are often overlooked and rarely discussed, explaining why many older adults struggle to live long and stay healthy past 80. These reasons are not the usual suspects like diet, smoking, or exercise. They are deeper, more subtle factors. These factors are often overlooked, even in people who have done most things right. And the good news is that once you understand them, you can do something about it. If you've ever wondered what really gets in the way of longevity after 80 and how to protect yourself while you still have time, stay with me until the end of this video, because these 5 unexpected reasons might just help you change the way you age before it's too late. Let's get started. Reason 1, loss of microsocial engagement. One of the first and most overlooked reasons many older people don't live long after 80 is the quiet disappearance of what experts call microsocial engagement. These aren't your deep friendships or family gatherings, which are still important, of course, but rather small, seemingly insignificant interactions that were once a vital part of your daily life, which you may not even realize. Think about how you used to greet the mail carrier, share a joke with the cashier, or nod at the neighbor walking their dog. These small moments are not only pleasant, but also help regulate your nervous system, reinforce a sense of belonging to a community, and keep your brain sharp. But after 80, many older adults stop going out for errands, instead relying on online shopping or family members to help. They stop conversing with strangers because their hearing isn't what it used to be, or stop walking outside because the weather is a bit cold, or their knees aren't as stable as before. When these small social touch points start to disappear, something else also disappears: vitality. Interestingly, most people don't realize this. They think they are simply simplifying their life, but in reality, they are removing basic social interactions that stimulate brain function, improve mood, and signal to the body that they are still part of the living world. We don't need complex actions. I've known men over 80 who remain sharp just by walking to the same coffee shop every morning, greeting the same staff, and nodding at the same 3 people at the corner. This 5-minute connection is not just a habit, but a lifeline for them. It shapes their day, keeps them accountable, and makes them feel seen. And when this disappears, the brain reacts to the loneliness, both profound and subtle, as a stressor, altering hormone levels, increasing inflammation, and weakening the immune system. But more importantly, it begins to shrink the brain networks responsible for memory, attention, and emotional regulation. Simply put, it makes you feel older faster. So, if you find yourself talking to fewer people during the day, or if you've stopped going out for small tasks, stopped starting casual conversations, or feel like you're no longer seen in the community, it's time to reverse that. Because these small connection moments are silently signaling to your brain and body that you are still important. You are still part of something. And this message is one of the most powerful remedies for keeping you alive, not just physically, but emotionally. 2. Excessive caution. Another silent reason many people fail to live long after 80 is what seems like wisdom: caution. But there is a fine line between being cautious and becoming overly careful. When you cross this line, the consequences aren't immediate, but are always cumulative. It often starts with good intentions, perhaps after you've slipped on the stairs once or nearly lost your balance on the sidewalk, so you decide to limit your outdoor movement, stop bending to pick things up from low shelves, or stop climbing into the back seat of a car. You sit more and stay seated longer. People around you will praise your caution, telling you not to push yourself too hard, to just relax. And before you know it, you've created a life that is safe but stagnant. But here's something no one mentions. When movement stops, strength stops. It's not just in your legs or arms, but also in coordination, balance, and your body's internal stability. The body isn't like a machine that needs rest to stay effective. It's more like a garden that needs nurturing. And when activity decreases, things don't just stop, they weaken. One of the first places this shows is in the core muscles. Most people don't realize that the deep muscles in your torso play a crucial role in every activity, from standing, walking, and lifting objects to getting up from a chair. If these muscles are not used for even a few weeks, they will atrophy, and when they shrink, your balance will decline and you'll start stumbling, entering a vicious cycle. If you notice you're doing fewer things not because you can't, but because you're afraid of what might happen, pay attention to that. Ask yourself, am I protecting myself or am I slowly fading away? Because surviving after 80 isn't just about avoiding falls. It's about continuing to move, even if it's more cautiously, more slowly, more deliberately. Movement is how the body remembers it's still needed, how systems in the body keep functioning, helping the brain stay alert and the heart continue beating with purpose. Reason 3, disrupted sleep cycles. Due to irregular lighting, there's a silent clock inside your body that doesn't tick but controls most everything: mood, metabolism, immune system, and even the brain's repair processes at night. After 80, this internal clock, also known as the circadian rhythm, becomes more sensitive than ever. One of the biggest reasons it gets off track is a lack of daylight and too much light at night. You may not notice it right away, but perhaps you've started sleeping more during the day, feeling sleepy in the afternoon, or maybe you've stopped going outside regularly, especially in the winter. You may have turned on the TV at night or left the lights on late while reading or watching movies. Each of these changes seems harmless, but together, they silently confuse your body about when to be alert and when to rest. Your body relies on natural light to keep its circadian rhythm. Morning light signals your brain that it's time to wake up, start moving, and send energy to where it's needed, while darkness at night signals your body to produce melatonin, the hormone that prepares you for deep sleep. But when your eyes don't get enough natural light during the day, or at night you're overly lit by screens or artificial lights, your body's internal signals get scrambled. As a result, you'll find it harder to fall asleep or stay asleep through the night, and you might wake up feeling tired even after 8 hours of sleep. You may feel low energy throughout the day or notice your memory becoming fuzzier than usual. Over time, disrupted sleep not only affects energy, but also weakens the immune system, creates mood instability, and can even increase the risk of cognitive decline. There's also the issue of vitamin D, a vitamin your body produces when your skin is exposed to sunlight. After 80, the ability to synthesize vitamin D through the skin decreases, which means outdoor light exposure becomes more important than ever. Without sunlight, your bones, muscles, and immune system will suffer. I once spoke with a woman named Helen, 84 years old, who felt increasingly fatigued and absent-minded. Her blood tests were fine, her diet hadn't changed, and she wasn't on any new medication. The turning point was when her doctor simply advised her to sit by a window in the morning for 20 minutes with the blinds fully open and to turn off electronic screens an hour before bed. After 2 weeks, her sleep improved, her memory got better, and her mood lifted. It wasn't a new medication, just light. So if you've spent most of your time indoors with closed blinds, or if your evenings are filled with blue light from your phone or TV, it's time to make a change. Try to get outside within an hour of waking, even if it's just for a few minutes on your porch. Let your eyes and skin absorb the morning light. In the evening, reduce the brightness so your body can prepare for sleep. These gentle rhythms aren't just comfort, they are survival. Because what many people don't realize is that the body doesn't just age due to wear and tear, but also because of disorganization, systems losing their rhythm. Restoring light signals, sleep schedules, and daily circadian rhythms is how you reclaim that organization. It's how you tell your body that even at 85, we're still on time, we're still moving, we're still here. Depression, due to loss and isolation. When many people reach 80, they've experienced more loss than younger people can imagine. A spouse, siblings, lifelong friends, sometimes even children. And while the outside world may politely offer condolences, what is rarely acknowledged is that these losses accumulate not only in memory, but also in the body. What often happens after 80 isn't just sadness, it's emotional suppression, the silent habit of swallowing grief instead of expressing it, trying to appear strong because you feel like you should be used to it, or because there's no one left who truly understands what you've lost. But the truth is, the body doesn't forget when grief isn't processed, when it isn't spoken, shared, or fully felt. It doesn't disappear. It gets stored. And over time, this emotional weight becomes physical. It begins to affect your immune system, digestive system, sleep, changes hormones, and puts your nervous system into a constant state of stress. The difficult part is that it happens quietly. Outside, you may seem calm. You may even say you're fine. But if your shoulders are heavier, your breath a bit shallower, and the flame inside you has dimmed, no longer feeling like yourself, grief could be the reason, even if you've never said it aloud. I remember a man named George, 86 years old, who lost his wife after 60 years of marriage. He didn't cry much, saying that wasn't his way, and he said he was fine. But within a year, he lost weight, stopped going to the senior center, and began struggling with sleep, not because of illness, but because his body was carrying the grief that had never been released. You see, emotional pain doesn't need to be dramatic to cause harm. And when it shows up in your health, the connection isn't always obvious. What keeps many people living long isn't just physical strength, it's emotional openness. It's having safe outlets for sadness, fear, and longing. It's being able to say, I miss her, or I'm still angry, or I feel lonely without judgment. It's allowing that emotional release to help your heart breathe again. And when the heart can breathe, the body will heal itself. If you're holding something inside, not because you want to, but because you don't know where to put it, it's time to make room, not just for your emotions, but for your life. Because the truth is, the heart can only carry so much before it starts to shut down on its own. And if you want to live past 80, not just survive, but truly live, you have to let it feel again. Reason 5, gradual loss of daily purpose. One of the less recognized reasons many people don't thrive after 80 is the slow erosion of something we often take for granted until it's gone: daily purpose. It's not a grand existential purpose, but the simple kind of purpose that gets you up every morning with something to do, somewhere to go, someone to meet. Purpose doesn't need to be dramatic. It could be watering the plants before it gets too hot, feeding the neighborhood cat, writing a letter to a granddaughter, or fixing a door hinge. But when these small routines begin to slip away, when mornings no longer have a reason to get up, and evenings come with nothing to reflect on, something inside begins to quietly shut down. The body listens to the mind, and when the mind no longer sees a reason to move forward, the body follows. Appetite decreases, movement slows, and without purpose, the systems that once regulated your health begin to quietly go silent. Not because they are broken, but because they're waiting for a reason to start again. It's easy to overlook this because it happens gradually. Maybe your weekend card games are canceled, the church group no longer meets, maybe your family visits less, or your volunteer role ends as your knees start to ache. You tell yourself that it's normal, it's just a part of getting older. But deep down, you can feel it. The days are passing by, each one quieter than the last. I once met a woman named Ruth, 88 years old, who seemed more vibrant than many people half her age. She wasn't wealthy, didn't have perfect health, and didn't live in a big family, but she had one thing that never left her routine. Every Monday, she wrote postcards to the elderly members of her church. Every Thursday, she made soup and froze it to send to a local shelter, and every day she sat by her window around 4 p.m. to watch the neighborhood kids walk home from school. She knew their names, waved at them, and they waved back. It wasn't anything glamorous, but it gave her days a little color. It gave rhythm to her heart. It gave her life continuity. And that's the secret no one tells you. The body stays alive as long as it believes it's still needed. Purpose, no matter how small, acts like fuel, signaling your cells to continue repairing organs, keeping your brain operating, and continuing to learn. When you lose that sense of relevance, when you feel your presence no longer matters to anyone or anything, the flame inside you begins to fade. That's why those who live long, passing 80 with grace and vitality, often have something that ties them to their day. It might be a garden, a pet, a journal, a ritual, a phone call, a simple morning prayer. What matters is not the scale, but the consistency. It's knowing that when you open your eyes in the morning, there's a reason to get up. So if you feel adrift, as if your days have lost shape or meaning, don't overlook that. It's not just sadness, it's a signal that your body is asking for rhythm to return, asking for structure, connection, and purpose. Because at the end of the day, longevity is not just about the heart still beating, but the heart wanting to beat, and the quiet desire to keep going, stay connected, and feel important. That's what will carry you through your 80s and into a life where you still feel whole. Final thoughts. As we wrap up this video, I want to leave you with one simple yet powerful truth. Most people don't begin to fade after 80 because of a single moment. It's not because of a diagnosis or a fall or some birthday when everything suddenly changes. It's the quiet disappearance of habits, rhythms, and reasons to continue participating in life. And often these changes are so subtle, so gradual that you don't realize what's happening until something inside you feels duller than before. But the good news is this: just as these changes happen slowly, they can also be reversed slowly. A single walk outside, a little extra chat with someone at the store, a small stretch in the morning. Something you do today, not because you have to, but because it gives you structure, connection, or meaning. That's how you begin to change everything. Think back to the 5 unexpected reasons we've discussed. Which one surprised you the most? Which one felt uncomfortably familiar? And more importantly, which one are you willing to act on, even in the smallest way, starting today? Because the truth is, you have more power than you think, not to stop aging, but to change how you age. And if you're ready to wake up to the silent changes, if you're ready to protect your rhythm, safeguard your purpose, and allow yourself to feel what needs to be felt, there's a good chance you won't just live to 80, but you'll live beyond it, fully and deeply in your own way. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear your feedback. Leave a comment below and share something you've learned today and how you plan to apply it to your life. Your thoughts matter to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments motivates and encourages us greatly. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us keep creating great content to inform and inspire you. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.